I assume I did an intro on this, but this is that 86 Ford pickup truck. I don't know if it's gonna kind of close to it, but it's one of the fuel injected 5.0 automatic. I'm going to try to see if I can even get this thing to crank today, much less possibly fire. So we're going to work on that. There's some things that are not going to cooperate, and number one is the solenoid is MIA, and the wiring is just kind of half-heartedly laying here, and then there's some plug-ins. I'm not even sure if they were supposed to be plugged in or not. I assume the red one is now the ground, because the black one I think is the power to the starter. So I'm having to trace these wires out to even see where they go. I'm going to do that off camera, but what I am going to do is to steal the parts off of this 91. Even though the solenoid's no good, it's at least good enough to use as a, just to see if it's going to crank. So I'm going to unbolt this, and I'm probably going to steal a couple of these ends. Well, I know I'm going to need this one because it's missing, and then this one here I will take off, and we will put it on there, and I'll bring you back when I'm about ready to fire. And I'm going to look some of this wiring over. I know it's a different year, and that's going to, so some of this wiring isn't going to be the same, and the plug-ins aren't going to be the same, and da-da-da-da. So anyway, we'll go through it, and I'll bring you back when I get ready to try something over there on that truck. Alright, so I got the battery hooked up. I heard a bunch of clicking over there. I pulled this air cleaner off because I wanted to make sure that they hadn't got in there. Unfortunately, it was clear full of corrosion on the top side. So, and I know the throttle moves, but I'm going to pull this cover off so I can get to it a little bit better. I don't know if the key is on or not, because like I said, it's not, the steering column's laying on the seat. I really don't know. I'd like to get a little, I pulled some of this stuff out already. It doesn't taste very good. I assume it's just corrosion. I'm not really sure. Nasty stuff. Now, the complaint was it didn't have any fire. I've already checked the oil. I can't see how much antifreeze it is. I'm not expecting anything to start. I'm not even sure it'll actually crank over, so let's give that a try first. I think you're looking at where I'm looking. Let's find out. I think my battery's getting kind of weak. This is actually out of the Toyota, and I use it to pull something up with the with my winch. Matter of fact, I think I pulled this up, so I may have to go get a different battery. Okay, with that said though, I said the complaint was it didn't have fire, and so much of this wiring is either covered with rat debris or stuff that I can't recognize. I'm not really sure. So apparently the neighbor has a phone that you can hear from out here. So let's start with, man, the rats have ate the top of the plug wires up too. Not a big deal, but let's start with see if the coil's got any fire. I didn't bring anything to another screwdriver with me. This is going to fall down to the fan as soon as I hit the go button on it. Oh, let me make sure the key's on. That I don't know. I better start there. Like mice are still living in it. Believe it or not, I think I hear a fuel pump too. That's actually kind of a surprise. It won't crank with a key because I know the solenoid's bad, but I did have a key, a light that came on the dash. Only one, but better than nothing. I don't know if you're going to be able to see that. I'm not sure what you're looking at. It's not bright out here. You kind of see it. I don't think you're going to see it spark though. Let me see what happens. Yeah, I'm not getting anything from the coil. I don't think. I'm trying to see if it'll arc across to the cap where it belongs. Bad thing is I'm not sure I kept the coil off that 351. I don't know what that was. I don't think I'm getting anything off the coil. Now they said they replaced a bunch of stuff, but I'm also not sure that I'm making contact with the coil. We'll get another screwdriver whilst the camera is still running. How many crickets you got? Look at that. They're everywhere. Alright, let me try something else here. Let me try a screwdriver this time. Alright. I'm not getting anything off the coil. So, does it mean the coil's bad? Possibly. But the wiring also could be chewed up. Well, the coil's easy to get to too. It's behind that AC bracket. It's right there. And you can't, well, you can kind of get to it from this side, I guess. This is it here. Let me check all the wiring to it, because anything could be ate up, or because unfortunately, like I showed you I think a minute ago, I don't know if this is supposed to go somewhere or not. That other truck doesn't have it. This is also unplugged. I have no idea if it's supposed to be plugged into something. This is the relay center, which I know I've got the fuel pump I can actually hear, so I know it's attempting to do something. And this is not for this year, so I have no idea if that's also could be causing my problems. I just don't know. Let me string my, I don't know if I got enough cord on or not. Let me string my battery. I've charged this too. Let me look around a little bit more and see if I kept the coil and stuff off this, and off that 351, off that 91. It may not be the same, but let me start with the coil at least, and then we'll see what we got going. I may get my voltmeter out and see if I have any power to the coil, because I'm just not sure. So I'll bring you back in a minute. Thought I'd bring you back really quick and show you some of the stuff you run into when they either sit for a long time, or you're dealing with a manufacturer that is not your favorite. It seems like they like to fight a little bit more. I ended up pulling the entire AC system off, including that AC bracket, which of course is also part of the power steering bracket. And I had to take all the bolts loose, so now the power steering is just barely hanging there. I don't know if I'm going to have a ground issue or not. I may have to try to put the big bolt back in, because the coil goes here. But what I'm running into is I'm going to replace the coil and the module just to be done with it. This is the module that Ford uses on the side of the distributor. The problem is there's a special tool, I may have said this a minute ago, and you cannot get to it without pulling the distributor out. There seems to be enough room that I may be able to swing this one out of the way. The serpentine belt setup is different. This is the only year that used this, I believe, and so being the 3 belt system, so there may be enough that I could just turn this distributor and I could get to the back bottom bolt on this module. The problem is the distributor won't turn. I have not beat it on it yet, and yes, I've loosened the, I'm going to show you, prove to you, this is loose. So, I mean, I should be able to turn that distributor, and it won't turn, even with a big old crescent wrench on it. Which is another reason why I pulled that bracket off the AC. And so maybe I can get in there a little bit better, but I cannot move this. So I'm going to go get a hammer and try to persuade it other ways, which means I'm probably going to destroy it. But that is not all my problems. Being as this is rat infested, I noticed something. Let's see if I can get you in there. See that right there? That's a fuel injector. Do you notice anything missing on it, like the wiring? The entire wiring harness on that side. This one has it. You can, but I'm trying to say, yeah, but it's only about 2 inches long and gone. So that means almost the entire wiring harness for the fuel injection system, at least on the passenger side, is gone. It's been ate. So I don't know if it will start even if I do all this stuff. It could be that they ate some of the wiring back there for the ground, and that's the reason that it was cranking and not having any fire. It's possible that it has took the ground off of something that it had to have. Now, can you make this carbureted? Well, sure you can, but in these particular years they used a low pressure fuel pump in the tank and a high pressure fuel pump on the frame rail. Removing the high pressure one isn't a big deal. Replacing it with one of them little 12 volt, little pump, that's no big deal. I just don't know if the one in the tank will overpressure that, or if it weren't run off just a low pressure, because I don't know what Ford considers low pressure. I've never actually looked that up. So anyway, I'm going to beat this snot out of this thing. That's why I didn't leave you here for this, is because I had to take a lot of stuff apart, and Ford used oddball sizes like Nissan, 14 millimeter, 16 millimeter bolts. I am baffled by this. I don't remember this being like this, but it's been 20 years since I've worked on a Ford. Worked on it. So anyway, I'll bring you back here if I find anything else out. Okay, so unplug an extension cord. Here's the deal, guys. I give up, and I am not one to do that. You're looking at or listening to somebody who would put thousands of dollars into a $14 vehicle to get it to run again, and this is just not it today. I have a major problem that I'm going to go get into on this next part of this video, or the next video in series, that has really, I wouldn't say changed my life by any means, but it is now something that if I don't take care of immediately, it's going to cause, well, I'm not even going to get into it. I'll just get into the video and I'll show you what I'm talking about. So basically, the wiring being ate up, I thought I could just take it off of this 91, and unfortunately all the wiring is there. I could easily do that, except it uses all the plug-ins here to plug the system in. That truck is not wired that way. It is a complete different animal. So I mean, I could cut and splice if I could figure out which ones go from there to there. I have to pull the entire intake off, top and bottom. The distributor, I can get it to move back and forth. It will not come up. It will not raise up enough. I cannot get enough space in there. It's hitting the manifold where the thermostat housing is. I'd have to remove that to get in there. So the whole intake will have to come off, upper, lower. Then I have to try to figure the wiring out, and then that's, with those amount of wires already gone, I'm wondering what else is all chewed up. The steering column is still laying on the seat. There's rat crap everywhere, and it's such a shame, because you're still looking at one here that doesn't have any rust on it, and it is just a shame that this thing is going to have to go to scrap. But it's beat up. It needs a hood, it needs this fender, it needs a door, which I could steal the door off this, but the fenders are different. Obviously it needs paint. I don't know about the brake system. I don't know about the transmission. I mean, there's so many things. Believe me, guys, I am not one to give up, and if I had time, trust me, I would have this thing on the road here in a couple of weeks. I honestly would. I have enough parts on this one, and parts are so inexpensive, you know, to find for these, because they made 10 gazillion of these trucks, that, you know, that's not my problem. So I will bring you back on the next video to show what my problem is and why I have to get this took care of immediately, and what happens when you're a Facebook Marketplace or Craigslist junkie, and you think you're getting a good deal on something, so you buy them. You know, I know people. That's how I bought some of this stuff. These both came from somebody I knew. That ADL Camino I never did do a video on. Came from somebody I knew, and along with some other stuff. But I'll when I bring you back. Sorry about all the talk part of it. When I bring you back, I'll show you what my problem is.